ScottSJWellfire.com, Final Days Report, episode 444. Folks, is it all a stage? We're going to show new footage of the so-called assassination of Trump. We had a different version of this from behind. No way, bullets are flying. You're going to say, go, take pictures of the president. U.S. flag coming down for the iconic photo that skyrocketed Trump in the so-called selection. Also, we're going to talk Obama and his potential arrest, the buzz behind that. I'm going to give you my theory on this script. They need to create chaos for AI control. So we're going to end with new news on that front. So the first thing I want to actually share a video that Trumpet News One posted on his Telegram account. And this is a new angle. And again, the angle I had was a different version. And we called it out. Secret Service rushing, grabbing photographers and get in place, get in place. This one appears to be somebody grabbing them after the shots were fired. So you're telling me they know it's clear? All right, let's go get this iconic shot. And then the most nefarious thing I think I've ever seen is the flag comes down over Trump. Never forget Trump saying, get my shoes, get my shoes. And I'll put some of the thumbnails up of old VCasts that we've done at the end on this nefarious script. But we called out how people were saying, well, Trump, had his right ear bloodied, and Moses put blood on Aaron's right earlobe. And you have to remember why Trump kept on saying, get my shoes, get my shoes. Did they put blood on his right foot as well to anoint him as a high priest? High priest of Satan. Remember, MAGA is the highest name for the Church of Satan. And break from your right, left. It's all one big club, my friends. It's divide and conquer, the Hegelian dialectic. But this is just another proof point thereof. They needed that iconic photograph to get us all jacked up. USA, USA, USA. Meanwhile, the stories we're going to cover in the latter half is Trump is moving fast for this AI beast system, and it doesn't matter who's in power. Let's roll this. Moments after shots were fired, a member of Trump's team rushes to the side of the stage to gather photographers.
Yeah. Shot. Oh no! No! Either that or they're covering. We don't know. Either that or they're covering him. We love you. We love you, President Trump. We love you.
Here they are. Here's the guy that ran and grabbed him. Moving him. Flag is lowered into position. Here comes the flag. That to me is hilarious. Yes. Blood all over my hands. Blood wasn't all over his hands. He keeps on moving. He continues to move the photographers into position with the help of his colleagues. What if they're multiple shooters? He's kind of ducking out.
It could just be his ear.
It could be just his ear. Replay that. This is just... Once you see it... Okay, here's the guy running. And I think there was somebody behind as well grabbing them.
Oh, no.
Get into place. Get into place. We gotta get this.
Either that or they're
get this
covering. We
photo.
don't know. Either that or they're covering him.
You really think if shots are flying around, you're gonna get up and say, "Okay, it's okay."
We love you. We love.
Here they are. He ushers the photographers from the left side of the stage.
President Trump.
Now, just because I'm saying this is a false flag doesn't mean somebody didn't die. False flags, people do die. And then we did a VCast about, was this a sacrifice? I'll put the thumbnails up again at the end. Now, here's where I find it's getting interesting. Obama to face criminal charges. Tulsi Gabbard accuses former prez of treasonous conspiracy against Trump. Tulsi Gabbard accused Barack Obama of treasonous conspiracy against Trump, suggesting he may face charges. You can't make this up. This, to me, is the Nelson Mandela figure. Because Barack Obama recently says men need gay friends to teach empathy, be role models to kids. Really? They're telling you who they are. So you need to think about this. If Obama gets persecuted, he's a black leader, so black people will be pissed off. He is the sodomite leader, so sodomites will be upset. Meanwhile, they're going after minorities, right, with the ICE playbook, and they shouldn't have been here in the first place. That was the false flag. Cutting poor subsidies as well that we've covered. That VCast, what was it? 60 billion, I think, in funding illegals in welfare benefits. Never should have happened ever. So they need chaos, so many different footprints to create chaos, this left versus right. But what's crazy is this is the leave the world behind script. I watched somebody decode this. I couldn't find it. And I've never watched the movie. I've just seen snippets of it. The deer represent minorities. You have a black actor going after this white Republican, right versus left, Trump versus Obama. And then all of a sudden a nuke actually goes off. And it fits Dmitry Duduman's dream perfectly of a communist revolution and civil war before nukes start flying. They're priming us, my friends, for lawlessness. They need to kill the creditor, silent weapons for quiet wars, all while bringing in this AI beast system. And we're just going to go over some of the Mark of the Beast money systems that have recently passed with the Genius Act and other things because they need it, everything on the blockchain. And who has keys to the ledger? No privacy whatsoever. And I can see with chaos that they need to monitor all your dollars to stop funding the radical left. Where they're getting their money. We have been primed for this. Is George Soros funding Antifa during Trump's first administration? But now with the Genius Act and stablecoin and potentially central bank digital currencies, we'll play a couple videos. They'll be able to monitor everything. And the excuse, and the right will go along with it, is we need to stop George Soros and all these leftist billionaires from funding our demise. But their wings are the same bird. I'm going to pivot. So arresting Obama, and I'm not saying they want to arrest him. Let's say they do. I personally think it'll be a script. They need chaos for control. Meanwhile, they have the AI bones in place to monitor everything. So let's discuss the Mark of the Beast money system. I've always thought the way they were going to get rid of cash is the next pandemic when they launched 6G. And we're going to get into 6G as well, how they buried that, the implementation of 6G. And 6G is needed for the Internet of Things, for the Internet of Bodies, for the Internet of Nano Things. But I found this fascinating. Not many people have covered it. July 14, 2025, the U.S. Federal Reserve's FedWire Fund Service adopted this standard ISO 222, real-time financial transactions. This reminds me of FedNow that we've covered, monitoring every transaction. The standard supports emerging technologies such as blockchain and distributed ledger systems, cryptocurrencies like XRP, Stellar, so on and so forth, which are ISO 222 compliant, will benefit from increased integration with traditional financial systems. This is your Mark of the Beast system. This is the right version of it. The left will probably push central bank digital currencies. And as I play the next video, I don't think it matters because its wings are the same bird. With the U.S. adopting ISO 222, over 80% of global financial transactions are expected to use the standard by the end of 2025, creating a more unified global payment system. Unified, one is chaos, one is filth, one is this beast system. Then you have the Genius Act promoting stable coins that we've covered in the last couple podcasts. So there's a lot going on to burn your ability to pay in cash. Then you think about AI taking all the jobs and Elon's new universal basic income technocracy party. This is the craziest thing ever. At the end of the day, have peace because it's prophesized. Let's play Margie Taylor Greene. And again, I think and I've always thought she's somewhat of an actor, but she seems to be genuine here. She's going to say she's a Christian. And the reason why I said that is she was just so obnoxious. It just looked like big time wrestling watching her over the years in government. I wasn't buying her big time personality and her little riffs. They seemed like they were staged. This video starts off, I think, makes a wise point. While your attention is on Epstein, this is in the House. And I think this already passed. Well, this is happening.
I'm very confused about the Genius Act. I thought there was a deal made by the president to make sure that included was going to be the central bank digital currency. There'd be no possibility of a backdoor to get that. So where are we?
Steve, let me explain something. In 1971, we went off of the gold standard. The Federal Reserve did that. And we went to cash, a cash society. And the value of the dollar has drastically gone down to the buying power is less than 10 cents now from where it was in the 1950s before we went off the gold reserve. What's happening today on July 17th in 2025 when no one is paying attention, no one's talking about it, everyone is in blind rage about the Epstein files, and I don't blame them. However, right now, what is being voted on today in Congress is the entire setup, groundwork, and entire infrastructure being laid to move from cash to digital currency. And the number one thing that is not happening today is a ban on a central bank digital currency. This means the ability for the government to take control of your digital bank account where all your money is and turn it off. And this is why I'm so upset and it's not being talked about. Steve, I was the only no vote on the rule last night. And Congress set a record last night and no one's talking about that either. This was the longest vote held open for a rule in history. And it finally shut down sometime around midnight because there was a deal made and the deal will not be honored. It was a deal that Speaker Johnson made, and he said that he would put a ban on central bank digital currency in the NDAA. But let me tell you something. That's going to get stripped out in the Senate because what they told us all week long is the Senate does not have the votes to pass a ban on a central bank digital currency. So I want to lay this out straight for you all. You never thought in your lifetime that the government would shut you down, would close your churches, would close your schools, would close your business. And that happened only a few years ago. But what is happening today is the groundwork is being laid, and it's all in the name of cryptocurrency and stablecoin. But it is the entire regulatory process to switch us from cash to a cashless society to digital currency that can be controlled by the federal government. And there will be no ban on a central bank digital currency. There will be no way to protect your ability to fully control your digital currency in the future. And I'm voting no to this today. I don't know if there'll be any other no votes on the Republican side, but I'm voting no to this because I'm a Christian and I've read the Bible and I believe what Revelations 13, 16 through 17 says. And I just cannot vote for a future system that will do that.
But okay, hang on. But I thought at one time you had a dozen or maybe 25. You had the House Freedom Caucus plus others that are saying, hey, we don't support any possibility of having a central bank digital currency. A lot of them are concerned about things in the Genius Act overall, but they're prepared to, say, we'll let that go forward. But they're adamant about the central bank digital currency. Where are all the other dozen, 20, 24 people that were with you?
They remain concerned. Don't get me wrong. My colleagues remain. I'm not in the Freedom Caucus, so I'm going to lay that out right there. My colleagues remain concerned about a central bank digital currency. As a matter of fact, that was expressed as a concern by Republicans in every meeting that I was in. But yet there was no massive effort on a large scale to stop a central bank digital currency. It's just this. They were saying, we've got to deliver. The president wants this passed. We didn't even know about the Genius Act until Monday, but they're saying we have to have this passed. He wants a signing ceremony on Friday. He wants this done. And they're willing to push it forward without guaranteeing and passing on the front end. My demand is let's do this on the front end. Let's stop the central bank digital currency first. and then let's pass this stuff. But no one is willing to do that. They were willing to make deals that I don't believe will hold, because we were told all week, Steve, by everyone that a ban on CBDC, central bank digital currency, will not pass in the Senate. There are not 60 votes for that. So by Johnson putting it in the NDAA and saying this is our effort to get it to pass, it doesn't mean that it's going to pass in the Senate. They're going to gut it out. We watched them do that with the BBB. They're going to do it with Clarity, the other Bitcoin, the market regulatory bill that will pass today. They do this all the time, and the House constantly gets jammed. And here's one thing that really makes me angry, Steve. This was a closed rule. Johnson did not allow us to make amendments to the Genius Act, to make an amendment to put a ban on CBDC in the Genius Act. We were told you don't have a right to amendments. You don't get to do your legislative process anymore. You just have to vote on it. And they forced it through, making what I think is a fake deal. And I wish the Freedom Caucus had held, but they didn't. They want to work and they want to pass the president's agenda, and I do too. But I'm not willing to go along with the pathway to a central bank digital currency in a cashless society where none of us can control our money. Because I don't trust the government, and no one else should trust the government. And just because this administration is committed to that doesn't mean that a future administration will not lock down our bank accounts if we are not doing and saying what they want us to do. We've already been there. That was the past 4 years. I don't want to ever go back to that, and I don't want that future for my children, Steve. And so I am upset today. I'm adamantly no to this, and I wish I had more Republicans standing with me.
It's wings of the same bird. Bitcoin, stablecoin, it's on the blockchain. Under the right, they're pushing Bitcoin, stablecoin. They're moving us from the old system to the new system. And I'm going to put up a couple thumbnails about central bank digital currencies that we've done. I remember one VCast of all the countries moving forward towards the central bank digital currency was alarming. One world government is here today. Now, the next video I want to play, I don't think I've ever played this before, with Noah Harari, the futurist, this high-powered Satanist, says the Bible is fake news. He's going to say, can AI make you money? And this reminds me of the VCast we did with MasterCard having an AI agent that can buy things for you. And then how does that parlay into social carbon trackers? AI will say, no, you cannot buy this. It's like this AI power of attorney. Think about how they're trying to have digital twins with rights, these parallel systems. And ultimately, the biodigital convergence, this mind controls, and that we always talk about when they turn it on or you give your free will to hook up to artificial intelligence for 9 or so reasons, including health and new skills, higher IQ, learn languages, make money will be a big one. The love of money is the root of all evil. This will have read-write capabilities. You'll probably want AI to purchase for you. Own nothing and like it. But check this out. And then again, think about people hooking up to AI or having their AI assistant for the love of money, giving AI power of attorney.
Should AIs have the ability to open a bank account and manage a bank account? That's a very practical question. We are very close to the point when you can tell an AI, go out there, make money. Your goal is to make $1 billion. And one of the things about money, it's a very easy goal to define. An AI can make money in many ways. It can hire its services to people to write their essays or books or whatever. Many, many things it can do. It can earn money. It can then invest this money in the stock exchange. So do we as a society want to allow AI agents to open bank accounts and manage them in any way they see fit? And then this is not a question for 50 years. This is a question for 5 years, maybe 1 year.
He's priming the pump and knows the agenda moving forward. All right, I want to dive deeper into biohacking of you, human surveillance, human hacking, right? Noah Harari basically said we are hackable humans. Go back to some of our older VCasts when he was more prominent during CV time frame, as the days of Noah, defilement, poison pokes. But this is nothing short of biosurveillance, the human hack surveillance state, augmenting you, turning you into a mind controlism patented puppet. And all of this we've talked about over the last 4 years is right in the Bible. This is as the days of Noah, DNA defilement. This is Revelation 12, warning of the woman's seed. I think that's Eve, and ultimately going after Christians. There are cases to be made otherwise. Revelation 18:23, by their sorceries. When you really look at the etymology, and I think it's the Greek of sorceries, it's pharmakia. Rich men of this world hoodwinked you with pharmakia. No flesh will be saved. Matthew 24. Animals will lose the fear of men within the seals, killed by the beast of the earth. Seal 2. I personally think Seal 2 also has to do with neighbor versus neighbor, family versus family. This mind-controlled zombie outbreak of just pure lawlessness. And again, Matthew 24:22, except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, Christians' sake, those days shall be shortened. And no, I'm not a pre-trib rapture person. Check out some of our doctrine or Bible studies thereof. But I want to play this video from Non-Vaxxer 420, a Rumble channel that really does a nice job of this biodigital convergence, getting into the white papers. Very, very technical. So if you're into reading the white papers, I cover this stuff at a 40, 50,000 foot level view, just letting you be aware. But if you want to listen to sometimes 2-3 hours of just reading the white papers, he does a very, very good job of that. But I asked him to send me some snippets of how they're just moving us towards this biodigital convergence and what's their goal. And this video, what I find alarming with this video is they want to just biohack you. They want to change what it means to be God's creation. Lucifer wants to destroy God's creation. And you can see that just with society, right? Shaming parents for spanking their kids. The Word of God says don't tattoo yourself. Personally, because I think the ink is toxic, right? Your largest organ is skin, and you absorb things through your skin. So God's protecting you, but yet society pushes tattoos. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Those are just simple examples where society is against the Word of God. Let's play this video.
And these are your same Greta cried, the planet is dying, all the rest of it that everybody's used to seeing, the Agenda 2030 goals. Human augmentation is on the left. Your sensor systems are ubiquitous. They can use position, presence, and proximity, motion, velocity, displacement, temperature, humidity and moisture, acoustic sound and vibration, chemical and gas, flow, force, load, torque, strain and pressure, leaks and levels, electric, magnetic, acceleration and tilt, machine vision, optical and ambient. And the sensors are made out of your own cells. In fact, the fastest way to exchange the sensor systems is body area network to body area network. So, that doesn't mean that graphene sensors, the luciferase, and all the rest of it doesn't exist. Of course it does. In different layers of network communication. Why? Because of the different layers in your digital twin. The body level, the organ level, the tissue level, the cellular level, and the molecular level for omics. And as I was saying, our symbiotic autonomous sensors paper from 2017 is all about adhesing you with these sensor systems to augment you.
That was the word augmentation technologies. And if you're listening on a podcast, they show a monkey to this transhumanism freak. Again, all of this is in the Word of God. This is prophecy. This is iron mixed with clay. The seeds of men will not cleave. And the next bit, the big, beautiful bill, includes spectrum policy changes that will facilitate 6G development. It was written in a very subtle way because 6G must be used to connect to the Internet of Things, the Internet of Bodies. This is Trump Operation Warp Speed, your biohack president agenda. And I think it goes to the left as well, because remember, Biden signed the Biodigital Convergence Executive Order. Wings of the same bird. So this is from Non-Vaxxer 420 as well. This is a very long video. Take a snapshot of this if you want to watch the full, I guess, hour presentation. I'm just taking a couple minutes of it. Check this out.
A post on Truth Social by Donald J. Trump on May 20th, 2025. We must maintain our status as the worldwide leader in Wi-Fi 5 and 6G, connecting every American to the world's best networks, while also keeping everyone safe. We can do both at the same time. Bottom line, I am going to free up plenty of spectrum for auction, so Congress must put 600 millihertz in the one big beautiful bill and make sure all options are on the table. Never bet against American ingenuity. Make America great again. May 20th, 2025. And if you scroll down to the comments, you're going to see everybody cheering on their beautiful President Trump. Everybody's so happy about the big, beautiful bill. They're going to save some money on taxes. Not a single one of them have read the thing, though. Anyways, so Trump, again, telling people, May 20th, 2025, here comes 6G, folks. Does anybody even know what 6G really is? Well, the FAU certainly does. IoNT project meeting. So this was created in March 2025. The Institute for Digital Communications, Prof. Robert Schober, IDC, hosted a 2-day project status meeting for the Internet of Bio-Nano Things, IoNT, project from Monday, February 24th to Tuesday, February 25th, 2025 at FAU Erlangen-Nuremberg. The IoNT project aims to develop a communications platform for connecting the human body to future 6G networks and is funded by the German Federal Ministry of Education and Research, BMBF. The meeting brought together more than 45 participants, including our project partners from TU Berlin, TU Munich, and TU Darmstadt, TU Dresden, University of Lübeck, TH Dortmund, and German Research Center for Artificial Intelligence, DFKI, in Kaiserslautern, hard to pronounce, on the FAU side. The following chairs were involved in IDC BVT, Institute of Bioprocess Engineering, and LITES, Institute for Smart Electronics and Systems. Hence, many of our SIMOCADs associates, namely, not even going to go through the names, they're too hard to pronounce, presented their latest research results to our project partners. On both days, the discussion were enriched by invited talks given by 2 external speakers, a couple of doctors, professor for AI-assisted nanomaterials at University Hospital Erlangen. Their valuable contributions sparked an engaging exchange on the latest progress and future directions for IoNT. The meeting provided a great platform for collaboration, knowledge sharing, and strategic planning as we continue to push the boundaries of bio-nano communication research. So that's at the FAU in Erlangen-Nuremberg. So in Frontiers for Communications Networks, they have a call for papers, Emerging Communications and Computing Technologies for 6G and the Internet of Nano Things. So submission deadline is 29 June 2025. The background. One of the most exciting new ideas for future 6G systems is the potential integration of nanoscale communication paradigms, such as molecular communication, also known as MC, and terahertz communication, THZ communication. Inspired by natural signaling processes, MC represents a bottom-up approach, while THC offers a top-down perspective. Together, these novel methods expand the boundaries of information and communication technology into once inaccessible environments, like inside your body. For example, inside the human body.
When I listened to this podcast, it reminded me of the old VCast that we did, how the Department of Energy was involved in mapping your genome. The Genome Project. Why is the Department of Energy mapping your DNA sequence? What is going on? Then we've played articles how they think the human body can actually power 6G. Harvesting energy off of us that we've demonstrated years ago, mind controlling you with all of this nanotech, launching 6G, which appears to be critical for this infrastructure. The number 6 and then G reminds me of 666, this fake Holy Ghost. And it gets more nefarious with iron mixed with clay that we've been warning about for 4 years. New lipid nanoparticle platform delivers mRNA to the brain through the blood-brain barrier. I've covered this before because you need to think about they're not done poking you. Trump's new administration, they're finding new, safer ways to poke you. Never forget Larry Ellison with Trump's Stargate AI, this beast system, right? The woman, I think, is Jerusalem. I make the claim using the word of God that rides the beast, that controls the governments, right? We're seeing that with the Epstein cases, gets kicked off the beast. The 10 kings will hate the whore. I think they need war or some sort of consolidation to put in the 10 kings, or the other theory I have is the 10 kings just might be tech companies because tech's going to rule it all. But Larry Ellison, within the Stargate AI announcement, says, we're going to use this capabilities to cure your cancer. So they give you cancer skyrocketing after the As the Days of Noah devil juice, and now they're going to cure it with AI. We've talked so much about the DNA databases. Even Larry Ellison's company, I think, has over 20% of people's DNA. Elon's called for DNA databases. Goes back to a war on God's creation. And never forget, I get a little repetitive, Elon Musk and Neuralace, it's non-invasive surgery to map over you. And so La Quinta Columna and others are finding these things in pokes, these little chips. So my question is, will 6G, that launch that non-vaxxer just covered, will there be a pandemic? Because when they actually launch new things that mess with your body, people get very, very sick. Going all the way back to when they launched electricity, people got very sick. When they launched radio technology, people got sick. 5G, there's some theories that we've covered over the years. But never forget this new lipid nanoparticle platform delivers mRNA to the brain through the blood-brain barrier. These findings demonstrated in mouse models and isolated human brain tissue could expand treatment options for neurological and psychiatric diseases. What do you think happened with the nose swab and the poison poke? It's getting wild. I think it's a great time to be alive. I might sound cynical. I'm a little agitated because I just read an article, and I knew this already, but I just read an article of how little kids are just getting colon cancer. And they're just defiling us so much. It's one thing for adults, but when you start messing with kids and babies, it's sickening. That's one of the reasons why I became awake. Is I would listen to testimonials of women, mothers, how they would take their kids for the old school poison pokes, and they would just see their kids' eyes die, their baby's eyes die in front of them. You know your baby, how your baby reacts. And then after a said event, you see the transition, and all these social media companies were shutting down these mothers' testimonies. It just made me sick. It makes me sick. I'm not going to read scripture, but I just want to put in perspective some thoughts. In Revelation, the beast and the woman, often called the harlot or Babylon or Mystery Babylon, are distinct but interconnected symbols. The beast, particularly in Revelation 17, represents a powerful earthly entity, possibly AI government, political, religious organization, military power, big corporations. I think it's all the above. The beast system. Think about all the major companies that are in Switzerland. Think about all the places where you have the city-states, Rome, London, Washington, D.C. The beast system. The other beast in the book of Revelation is the Antichrist. Now, the woman, who I think is Jerusalem, also in Revelation 17, is depicted as the great city, Jerusalem. It sits on 7 hills, the great city called Sodom and Egypt, where they crucified Christ. You're seeing who really runs the United States. So the woman is riding the beast and will get kicked off. And then you need to think about when the 10 kings come in power, maybe they're tech companies, maybe they're just regions, combination thereof. Think of Zechariah 14 and Luke 21 as well. You know, when you really study prophecy, oftentimes you have the minor prophecy and then future fulfillment. Dual fulfillment happens in the near term and late term. That could be a nice study to go over. So we're seeing this play out right now, my friends, because I've had some emails where I think people come at me and they've said they're confusing the woman and the beast system, right? The woman rides the beast, but will get kicked off. The 10 kings will hate and burn the whore. And then that fits Zechariah 14. God brings all the armies of the world against Israel. In Luke 21 as well, judgment on this people. What people? That people. God bless. Hopefully this is a blessing. Let's summarize. I'm not buying that even if they arrest Obama, it fits that movie that Obama produced, Leave the World Behind. There's a great video. If somebody can find the video of somebody that really looked at the esoteric hidden knowledge of that video. And I just remember the deer that were creepy, that represents minorities. And then I go back to Trump cutting off all the illegal alien benefits. I think it was 40 to 60 billion. Don't quote me. We did an old podcast on it. Trump with the ICE situation. All of that should never have happened. You can't tell me this military-industrial complex cannot secure the border. It's a joke. It's allowed to happen by design for chaos. Then if they go after Obama and arrest him, then you have this Nelson Mandela hero. You get the radical left or the lefties all upset. Meanwhile, they're bringing in this AIB system. Think Palantir, think executives for these social media companies being sworn in as military lieutenants, corporals, maybe generals, who knows? High positions sworn in just like that. No military training because it's the merging of fascism. That's always been happening. But now as this beast system goes live, this Doge, EGOD backwards, and then with the Genius Act, with the big, beautiful bill, with the ISO 222, mark of the beast money system. And the stage with Trump is funny. Who in the right mind will want to take pictures if your president's head was blown off? Lower the flag. Where are my shoes? I'll put some of the old thumbnails if you're a huge Trump fan. It's deception. It's deception on all sides. When I first woke up, I remember I saw a video of a whistleblower. He said he was told they run both sides. Margie Taylor Greene, I think she nails it. Claims to be a Christian. I always thought of her as an actor because I would think nobody would act that obnoxious. Nobody would be that unprofessional. But what do you say in the comments about her? Because I think she's telling some truth. But what she has not, she's focused. Here's the psyop potentially. She's so focused on central bank digital currencies. Stable coins are dangerous too. It's all dangerous. not one versus the other. It's all dangerous. God bless. Thank you for your support. Keep me in the fight.